Okay, so I am out here checking fences, and the filming is going to be a little bit bouncy because I'm riding. But I'm just going to give you a little bit of Duchess's story. So we'll kind of do Duchess's profile a little bit different than some of the other horses that we've done, because I am her personal owner and I know her a little bit better. I know a lot more of her backstory than a lot of the other horses. So here we go. So Duchess is a 11-year-old quarter horse mare. She's great, so not registered or anything. I suspect, excuse me, that she's an American quarter horse. Haven't done an official DNA test yet. I really want to. So I haven't quite sent in Shyla's yet. Just a lot of things have come up in my personal life, so I haven't really been able to get around to it. But I am gonna do Duchess's at the same time. So I will have both of those results for you, hopefully in January sometime. Anyway, so she is a red dun. Okay, so she is like a really kind of almost like a creamy brown color, and she's got these dark red hairs throughout her mane. Let's see, she's got that nice dun dorsal stripe. So any horse with a dorsal stripe, so a stripe that goes all the way from their poll through their mane, and onto their back, as you can see. Let me scooch back a little bit. Yeah, so she's got her dorsal stripe right there, but she's also got these white patches kind of all over her, making her kind of a roan. So she's a roan red dun, which is pretty cool. The older she's getting, the more roany she is. When we first got her, a couple of people were worried because it looked like she had rain rot or something on her neck, but it was just the way her coloring was. So yeah, when I have owned her for, geez, how old are you? You're 11. So I've owned you for 5 years. So since 2019 actually. That's when I got her. So I got her in the fall of 2019. But when we first brought her here, she was not actually for me, and I'll get into that in a second. But she is 14.3 hands, so like barely a horse. She's pretty short and stocky. Whoops, that's a lot of wire just hanging out there. We need to take care of that. Sorry, distraction. I'm actually supposed to be checking fences, so anyway, we might have a couple more distractions. Anyway, so she's 14.3 hands. Let's see, she's 11. What else do I know about her? I don't know. I'll just go ahead and get into her backstory about how I came to have Duchess. So in 2019, we were looking to get a few new horses added to our program. We had a lot of horses that were getting older, and we were bursting at the seams with students. And so we were looking for another horse, and she was brought over by kind of like a friend of a friend type of thing, and sold to us as a completely broke, gentle kids horse, which she is not. So they brought her over for us to try her out, and she was obviously a little bit on edge because, you know, coming to a new place. And so she was very hesitant, okay, but she was responsive. She seemed gentle. She didn't do anything crazy, no taking off or bucking or rearing or anything like that. She was still responsive, but we only rode her for, 10 minutes in a round pen real quick. And she was young. She was 6 years old. She was healthy. So my boss decided to buy her for the ranch. And we found out very, very quickly that she was not suitable for our lesson program. She was not suitable for kids. She had trouble standing tied. At one point, she reared up, fell over while she was tied, destroyed a water bucket, by rearing up and falling on top of a water bucket. Anytime you would ride her, if she wasn't comfortable, she would run backwards back to her spot in the tack area. She hated trail rides. You could walk her in the arena, but if you asked for a trot, she would go into a super fast extended trot, wouldn't canter. It was just, she was kind of an emotional wreck. So she was young. She had a lot of buttons, like she could side pass, she could do rollbacks, but she didn't have the mental training to be able to use those skills correctly. So she had a lot of physical things that she could do, but she had nothing emotional to support that. She wasn't mature enough as a horse to know how to carry herself, how to be relaxed. She was relatively spooky. And getting her to leave where she was comfortable was very difficult. She also hated being caught. So if we were to try to catch her, another loose wire. Okay, so that's 2 so far. If we were to try to catch her to do extra work, that needs to be redone too. To do extra work with her on the ground and stuff, it would take 2 hours to just get her caught. And when we brought the whole herd in, it would take a good 20 minutes to just catch her. She would run around. She was very evasive. So she had tons of emotional things going on. So me and other staff tried to work with her, because a lot of times when they're new, they need a little while to settle in. And we tried to give her that. But the more we worked with her, the worse she seemed to get. Like nothing seemed to be, good, like not good about her, but she had some good attributes. Okay. But she just constantly showed that she was not suitable for our program. So Sprite, or my boss, so my boss Sprite and I were discussing about going ahead and selling her. But then I had my fall in love moment when I was riding her, and I picked up my water bottle with ice in it, made a rattling sound. She spooked. I came off sideways, kind of in front of her. I had both feet caught in the stirrups, and I was holding onto her neck for dear life. And she could have continued to take off, continued to spook, because that's pretty scary, a human grabbing on your neck for dear life. If I had fallen, I would have gotten dragged to death, and, there were so many things that could have happened. But she saw that I was off her, and she stopped immediately. So dead stop. She didn't run me over when she could have. She didn't continue to spook. I didn't get dragged. And that was my fall in love moment with this crazy girl. So I feel like each person kind of has their moment. Some relationships, sometimes it takes a long time to realize you really like a horse. But that was, at that moment, I was like, I have to have this horse. And so I talked to Sprite. I was only 19 at the time, barely 19. So I decided, I really wanted her. And then Sprite was gracious enough to allow me to make payments on her. And she wasn't even a very expensive horse. I just didn't have a lot of money at the time because I was barely an adult. So yeah, that's how I ended up with her. It did take a long time to build our relationship, get trust, have have her calm enough to be able to move her body. Hi, Maple. To move her body correctly. You know, first couple times in the round pen, she would go half a lap and then charge me. And so she was a really good learning experience for me, because I'd never worked with a horse like her before. And so over time, using natural horsemanship through the 7 games, we really were able to build that relationship, get her confident enough to be ridden consistently. You know, she still isn't the best group trail horse. Like, if I bring a group out here to do our trail rides that we do on Saturdays, she's not the best. She will do it. She's just really rushy. She's a very fast, speedy horse. So trail rides aren't her favorite, but she will do them now. It took us about a year before I could actually take her out on trail. But now she's, you know, a super good, she loads like a dream into a trailer. I've taken her horse camping. She's been in a parade. We've done, you know, 13-mile-a-day trail rides. She's good in the summer. She's great at barrel racing. We've started doing a little bit of dressage work. You know, I can ride her bareback and bridleless if I want to. But she's definitely not a, ooh, easy, she fell in the hole. A pull right out of the pasture and get on her, you know, after she's had a couple weeks off. She does need consistency still. She's still a young girl. She needs lots of support while being ridden. She's very sensitive with cues. She's very light with her cues. You just got to ask for them correctly. And just like any really advanced horse, you know, if you know, sit strange or ask her something that you don't know that you're asking for, she's gonna do it. But she's a very smart girl and likes to take advantage of riders. So she is purely an advanced rider horse. So she needs somebody who knows what they're doing, who's been riding for a long time, who's very light, very gentle, but also won't let her get away with stuff. But she's a fun little horse. I mean, I love her to death. Great second horse for me. Exactly what I needed. You know, she's not what I thought I wanted ever. But God brought what I needed, just like he always does. So, yeah, so this is, her full name is Duchess Day. So yeah, I had to have a middle name for her, because when we got her, her name was Julia. And Julia is a person name, and if you know anything about the Flying G, we don't like to have person names with our horses because we have a lot of campers, a lot of students. Whoop, she spooked at a bunny. And it just gets really confusing if a camper has the same name as a horse. So to clear up some confusion, if they come with a name that's like a person name, we always change it. Whoop, chill. Whoop. But yeah, as you can see, we're heading back home, but she's getting a little bit more rushy. But yeah, that was our, so my boss actually named her Duchess. There was a lot of different names that, you know, people wanted to call her. Her name was almost Sahara, because she kind of looked like a desert. I wanted, since her name was Julia, I wanted to call her Jules. But now I have a different horse named Jules. But when I got her, I wanted to have something to make her mine. Also, she was kind of naughty, and so when I yelled at her, I wanted to have a middle name. I feel like naughty horses need middle names. But anytime she'd be at her spot pawing or whatever, I, you know, yelled Duchess Day real loud. And it just seems to work. But yeah, this is this is Duchess, and that's her story. Ooh. Yeah, and if you have any questions about Duchess, comments, concerns, whatever, she is super cute, but it's hard to see when I'm riding her. You know what? Let me get off so y'all can have a better look about, you know, the gorgeousness that she is. Another fun thing about Duchess is the horse that I rode down the aisle on my wedding day. So she's been through all sorts of things. She's done all sorts of stuff. Hi, baby. AR. Yeah, this is Duchess Day. She's my girl. Second horse. I've owned several horses since her, but she's one of my favorites. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions about Dutchie. And I will see you all in the next video.